All right, but we begin today with our top story. Sam Bankman-Fried is back in the spotlight as federal prosecutors are reportedly investigating the FTX founder over whether he manipulated the market for two cryptocurrencies to give his business a leg up. Meanwhile, at the House Financial Services Committee, Chair Maxine Waters is setting the record straight on Twitter over her willingness to subpoena Bankman-Fried to testify at the December 13th hearing. Yahoo Finance legal reporter Alexis Keenan is here with more details. Alexis.
Hi, guys. Yeah. So here is the understanding that I have so far of this New York Times report. What the Times is saying is that federal prosecutors in Manhattan are broadening the already existing investigation into Sam Bankman-Fried and into FTX to look at whether he and or his firm have manipulated the prices for the tethered cryptocurrencies Terra US and Luna. Now, that would be to benefit his firms, Alameda and or FTX. And the hypothetical here, and this is something that has been shared with me with Yahoo Finance's David Hollerith, what he says the hypothetical would be here is that Alameda, the hedge fund for Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, that Alameda may have placed trades with crypto lender Genesis that would then caused a Terra sell-off. The New York Times says that a bulk of the sell orders for Terra US dollar back in May when the cryptocurrency collapsed, that they appeared to come from Sam Bankman-Fried's firms that had placed a big bet on Luna failing. And of course, those two cryptocurrencies tied together, trying to be pegged to the US dollar. The New York Times says it's not certain that this is what happened. Also, they issue a statement in their reporting that Sam Bankman-Fried gave, saying that he's not aware of any market manipulation and certainly never intended, that word coming up again, never intended manipulation. He said to the best of his knowledge, all transactions were for investment or for hedging at Alameda.
So I have a jurisdiction question, and you might not know the answer to this, I'm not sure, but this occurred to me as our Jen Schonberger was talking to Gary Gensler yesterday, which is, of course, FTX was domiciled in the Bahamas. That's where Sam Bankman-Fried and his team were located. It seems as though, as we talk about more regulation, whether it's necessary, et cetera, what we're describing, in theory, allegedly, would be against U.S. law if it was indeed a fraud. What's the jurisdiction then for the U.S.? I think, about 2% of the customers affected were U.S. based. But how does that all work?
Yeah, so the U.S. has broad authority and will use its jurisdictional authority anytime a U.S. customer is impacted.
So it's where the customers are. That's the relevant part here.
So the transactions that are isolated in the Bahamas and are with non-U.S. customers, non-U.S. entities, those would be outside of the jurisdiction of U.S. authorities. But anytime simply a transaction even crosses the border to the U.S., now you have a problem. So the U.S. authorities usually don't have too much of a problem finding some sort of nexus where they can have a jurisdictional hook.
And so for the people that have already started to file some of their class action suits against Sam Bankman-Fried, what recourse right now do they have to be able to continue to work through in these proceedings to try and hold them accountable?
Yeah, well, recourse, if those customers, if those people who are filing lawsuits, if they want money as to make them whole, they very well may not get it, right? Because right now the bankruptcy proceeding is going to dictate everything that happens in terms of people being able to claw back, entities being able to claw back money. And look, there's such a big hole there that whether any of the customers that were holding cryptocurrencies will get their money back is a big question. Obviously, Sam Bankman-Fried has repeatedly said, well, it shouldn't impact U.S. customers, that the U.S. entity in this whole scheme, that it should be able to make its customers whole. Now, that's yet to be seen. There's so much still to be worked out through the bankruptcy proceedings.
Yeah. Kevin O'Leary telling us earlier this week that he wants a full audit, and that's, of course, one millionaire's recourse versus the average person who invested in their recourse there. Thanks so much for breaking this down for us. Now, Finance's own Alexis Keenan.